Hi. Okay, so this is my first live. Just want to do a live to do kind of like a wrap up of all my like after WGU, what that's like. At first, I was thinking I was going to make videos about it, but I think I just want to wrap up this phase because I actually want to start making different kind of videos. Just experiment with sharing a little bit more of the like less the money accounting side, more of the neurodivergent, um, neurodivergent side of what I have in my profile. It's like neurodivergent, money, and life, or numbers in life, something like that. Anyway, so WG wrap up. I have notes because I don't want to forget what I wanted to say. So 1 second. Oh, hey, hello. 1 second. Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna pull up my notes. Where is it? What do I do? Or maybe I didn't have notes. You know what? I'm like, I think I left notes for myself. Oh, you know what? This works. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So question: how does AuDHD differ from ADHD? So AuDHD is a nice little, I don't know if a word for when you smush words together, but it's just autism and ADHD, but just smushed together so you don't have to keep saying autism and ADHD over and over. So that's what's different. It's just we've got autism along with the ADHD, and I like to say it's like you have, I don't know, it's like having two fighting toddlers always all the time, because like if you know about autistic people, everyone's different, but I would say like generally, um, like more focus on needing routines, and if your routines get disrupted, that really throws you off. But then ADHD kind of fights routines and doesn't really like them, and it likes to throw them off all the time. So it's like you're having that tension between I need routines, but like also I don't want them anymore, but I need them. So that's like a really simplified example. Okay, so I found my list, WGU. So I would say like once I finished, like I was graduated, did all the classes, I emailed my mentor to let them know I'm done, I've passed everything. What next? The next thing is you get a link to fill out to basically tell, it's like it tells WGU like I'm done, I'm ready for graduation, and then you fill it out. I think there's also a survey. Let me see. And I filled that out, and then when you fill that out, you can like you're basically like request your diploma and your transcript, so you have that as like proof. And then I did get an email later to, I guess, inviting me to apply if I want to do the master's. I haven't done anything with that yet because I think for this year, I'm going to take a break for schooling. If I do any more schooling, it would be next year. But that is an option. Like they do have a process for you to keep going. So I did that. And then that was, I want to say that was like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So I got my diploma. I was out of town this week, so the diploma arrived sometime while we were gone. So I would say it came pretty quickly. Like they give you about 2 weeks to wait for it to arrive. So that's pretty accurate. No. And so yeah, got my diploma, applied for graduation. Oh, they do have options to walk across the stage, like if you want that experience. But like it happens in different cities across the US, and I think they have a virtual one also. So I did sign up to hear more info about the 2026 cities because I again wanted to I didn't like any of the cities available for this year. I didn't want to do the virtual one, so I'm just going to wait and see what next year options are, because it sounds like there's not really a time period for when you can do it. So like, if I walk across the stage 6 months later after graduation, that's fine with me. I don't care. So that was the other thing I wanted to mention. But yeah, it's weirdly like anticlimactic. I guess that's the thing about online school, is that you're done. I don't know. There's like, when you go to physical school, there's sort of the like, I stopped going and driving in every day. Um, but online school, you're already at home, so the change is just you get more free time and you're not doing your classes. So, oh, let's see. Uh, so question: must have superior pattern recognition with AuDHD. Um, I don't know about superior. I just know how I see the world. Um, well, yeah, I have pretty good pattern recognition, and it's gotten better now that I've leaned into it more. Um, Especially for learning, like, it helps a lot with learning, but it almost feels like I have to ignore a lot of the advice for learning things, because it's not based off of how my brain naturally works. So yeah, but I would say I have pretty good pattern recognition, especially with people. Sometimes I can see things coming before they do, and I've learned to not say anything because nobody listens until it happens, and then they're like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And it's like, you wouldn't listen anyway. But that's cool that you're starting January 1st. Oh, so you're doing your research ahead of time, so that's good. I I know in the Reddit, like, a lot of people will, they'll do like their pre-work, or they'll watch the, what is it, like Tony Bell, and the accounting playlists to learn. I didn't do any of that, but also I've been working like in accounting for a few years, so I guess that was my prep. Let's see. But yeah. So right after graduation, getting diploma, graduation ceremony. Let's see. I feel like there was something else I wanted to share, but maybe that was, oh, okay. This one would have been a video, but again, I'm just gonna put them all into this live, be like a big old WGU live. Because I'm seeing a lot of people say WGU is, or I guess people think like WGU is not hard, or it's not like other colleges. And I have been to regular like brick and mortar college. Um, so I went to university and then my local community college. So I feel like I can give a good comparison between between WGU university and local community college. Um, so I would say WGU was harder for testing purposes, because at like university, local community college, your professors usually have some say in the test that's made. Either they're making it themselves, or they're making it with the other professors in that subject area. But they have some influence, some say. They know what's going to be in the test. For the WGU test, the professors, as far as I know, and what they say is they have no idea what's on the test. They're not involved. So they can try their hardest to help you prepare, but since they don't have any say or really know what's going on, it's almost like they're guessing too. Um, Whereas for university and community college, I'm just gonna call them like brick and mortar college. But for them, since they know it's going to be on the test, they're involved in it, they have some say and influence, they can prepare you better. Like, I often had professors who would give us study guides and tell us exactly what to study, exactly what types of things to study. And then sometimes you have open book tests too. So I'm not saying like one's harder than the other, but for testing, when your grades, it's a lot harder with WGU. Also, in brick and mortar college, they'll do something where they'll drop your lowest test grade. So maybe there's like 6 tests, but only 5 of them apply for your grade. And so you get again, well, it's a little easier, a little more wiggle room, because you can drop your worst test grade. Whereas WGU, that's not how it works. Like, you got to pass the test, or that's it. Like, you got to keep going at that class till you pass. So I would say that's what's really harder about WGU compared to brick-and-mortar. Oh, hello. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it's helpful to share it because before I started, um, oh, you know what? Let me write this down because that was the other thing I want to talk about. This is actually my second time, like applying for WGU, but I didn't. But the first, so oh, that's separate. Let me write it down before I forget. Second time. But yeah. So before I started this time around, I looked to see if there was anyone sharing about WGU accounting degree on YouTube, and there wasn't really. There was a few people, but they made some videos, but then it stopped. Like there wasn't much more. Like I didn't see anyone going through the whole thing, so I thought, why not? Like I can record short videos, even if nobody watches it. It's a good record for myself. So let's see. Do you plan on doing your CPA? So I've looked into doing the CPA, like where I'm at in Washington. You can, like, I could study for it, sit for it, and then do like the 2 years working under CPA, or you can get masters and then just do like basically half that amount of hours. So I'm thinking, because I would do more schooling next year if I go ahead with it, but I would do the masters, and then I would just go ahead and study for it, and then the thing I'm like not crazy about is having to work under or getting signed off on work, but I'll have to think through and like see how that will all play out. So like I know a lot of people, so I can ask like if there is a way to do it that I just am not seeing. Yeah. But anyway, short answer, I'm thinking about it. I would want to do it just to have more knowledge of what's going on in that, like kind of how this accounting degree helped give me more structure and how to understand like everything involved, because accounting is a really big subject world. I don't People outside of it usually don't realize like there's so many different things you can do with it. So I'm assuming doing the CPA and the masters would do the same thing, just give me even more of that structure. So yeah. But I did mention, let's see, I made a note here. Oh yeah, so WGU compared to other school. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing is the testing, and then being able to drop a test grade in brick-and-mortar college. And then also sometimes they'll grade on a curve. So maybe if everyone's done really badly, that lets the professors know like maybe that was a really bad test or bad test questions, and then they'll grade it on a curve. And that will help you too. In WGU, you're not going to get graded on a curve. It's just pass or fail. And some of the questions are not the best questions. And I've heard they do eventually update them. I just don't know how long that takes. But in the meantime, we get stuck with them. So yeah, I would say WGU is harder in that respect. And then of course the self-study, you have to keep yourself on track. In a brick-and-mortar college, they care. There's people around you. They don't force you to study, obviously, but there is more of that like social pressure. So, and then of course study groups, on-campus resources, they're more available to you. It's just less work to find things. So yeah, if you can get through WGU, I would say that shows a lot about how disciplined you are and how well you can work, especially if you're doing accounting, because there's a lot of self-learning, self-study, self-taking initiative that you need in this field. So that's like a good sign. Let's see. I already answered that one. As far as the test, Aline shared in her cohort recording that the test writers write them. Yeah. I did see that they write on the competencies, but it's like they're separate. So the test writers aren't necessarily the professors. And that's what I'm saying is it can be a little, it's not harder. It's just the professors has less say, they can tell you to look at the textbook, but what I would like about my professors at university is that they could tell you, like, ignore this part of the textbook, we're not going to test on it. So that would be helpful, because when you're trying to study, you don't have a lot of time. You knew what to focus your efforts on, or they could tell you, like, most of the questions are from these parts of the textbook. Yeah. So in WGU, again, they couldn't really do that if they don't know what part. And then I do think the tests say, like, they have to hit every point. It's just I did notice some tests would hit more parts of the textbook than other parts, and if you know that going in, you could focus your energy. So, but anyway, like, yeah, it's just the differences in the testing hardness. Um, Videos, yeah, video is more like student perspective, and theirs is more like a promoter. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's how I wanted to do it, just of like what it's like going through it. I don't know, and not even trying to be like, here's a tip to get through it, because again, everyone's brains work differently. Like, there's stuff that's easy for me that might not be easy for someone else. So I just wanted it more of the experience, like how to go through it and what it's like, and not really tips. Also, because I don't know, if they change the test, then my tip will be out of date. Let's see. Enrolled agent is the loophole opposed to CPA. They have the same powers in the tax realm. They have the same powers, but CPA carries more weight, like with regular people. Like, even doing bookkeeping, I get asked, like, "Oh, do you have your CPA?" And it's it's a lot to try to explain in 30 seconds that, like, no, but you don't need one to do bookkeeping or even taxes, actually. And even if you are a CPA, doesn't mean you can do bookkeeping or taxes, because that's for a totally different purpose. But if you have a CPA, you can just skip that conversation, and people think you know everything. So it's almost like a marketing thing to say you have a CPA, whether you work for yourself or if you're working for a company, it just sounds better. Like, they prefer that. But enrolled agent is starting to get more name recognition with non-accounting people. With people in accounting and taxes, it does have more weight. But uh, yeah, what I've heard some people do is they'll be eligible for the CPA, start studying for the CPA, and then along the way get the EA, because parts of the CPA exam apply to the EA exam. And I've thought about doing that too, actually, because I like started studying for the EA a couple years ago, and then just paused because I had other things I needed to focus on. But but even that little bit of studying helped me be a better bookkeeper, and then do the IRS, like, tax volunteering, tax prep with the IRS. So I might go back to it. It might be a lot easier now, actually. Let's see. Which course was my favorite and why? Oh, the first one that popped up was the marketing course, and that one's funny because it's not even accounting, but it was more interesting than I thought it would be. Um, and it gave more structure to, like, what marketing is. And when you have your own business, or even if you're an employee, you should learn how to do this too. But I liked having the structure for a lot of the stuff I've sort of learned the hard way as a business owner. So yeah, marketing is really important, and marketing people are really cool because they have an experimental mindset where you have to, like, try things and see what works. And then once you figure out what works, like, systematize it so you can keep doing it better. Yeah, that was cool. And then accounting class. What was that one? Is it one of the videos where I said I think I want to be a financial planner now, because um, like, that core. I think it was finance skills. I would have to look at my. Let me see. I wonder if I have it on here. Intermediate accounting. Oh yeah. This one. Yeah, this finance skills for managers. That one was interesting because it was more like forward thinking, financial planning. So I really like that one. But yeah, I like anything where you're having to, like, strategize and, like, look ahead and plan ahead. Let's see. Oh yeah, yes, that's why I want my CPA. That's why I couldn't do any ACE credit transfer because of my state board. So I have to do 120 credit units. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like EA CPA is pretty good. Also, the other thing is EA can practice in all 50 states, and the CPA I haven't looked too much into it, but I guess each state has to like recognize your license. Um, and I don't know if they all equally recognize or but what I've heard is some people just give it EA, and that way you're good in all 50 states. So it like covers all your bases. Mm. Oh yeah, the CF. I looked into the financial planning, um, and maybe I just need to talk to someone. But I feel like the accounting side of things it lends itself more to self-employment versus the financial planning. It seems less. Now, how do I say it? Like you can be self-employed because I'm in that Reddit. I lurk in that Reddit, but it seems harder to like build it up. Like accounting is pretty easy because people need tax stuff at some point with a business, but like financial planning is more individuals and maybe some businesses. But so it seemed like it takes a lot longer to like build up your clients. Once you have it, I think you're good. It just takes a while. So I'm like, I don't know. I want the skills of financial planning and finance, like that side. But I don't know if I want to like niche specifically in that. I feel like if you do anything money wise, you need to have like all that. Like it's like business. If you're gonna work with people with businesses, then the individual, because individual affects your business like your taxes, even with the business. Um, and then sort of like the person's money habits affects their business and their individual. So it like they all go together. I feel like you can't really separate them unless you're going to work with people who have no business at all. But then once they start making a lot of money, then again, like that makes things complicated. And if they've got real estate and yeah. So um that's interesting. So you might want to go into finance. Um, I think I said this, but I don't know. I just like learning about money stuff and helping people with it because it's a really stressful topic. Like money is not just numbers. Um, and even right now, like I don't touch taxes, but what I do touch is taxes. So I end up clarifying things for people and at least pointing them in like the direction of what they're looking for because people don't always know there's things like tax planning, tax strategy. um, and so when like clients start talking to me and or like a someone they're not a client but they're just curious and they start talking about what they need, I can point them in the direction of like you need a tax planner. Your one-to-year tax person is not cutting it anymore, so you need to ask if they do planning or find someone else like because but people don't know that's what they need or it's out there or even what word to Google. So I usually end up doing that, so that's why I like to keep learning. Um, let's see. Yeah, until you have a client base, it's hard to get into finance. Yeah, that's what I learn. I like to lurk on like Reddit or blogs or forums to see like what is it like actually, not like the people selling you courses. And it seems like finance is just like a longer grind to build it up. But then once you build it up, or if you like start under someone or with someone, and then you get your client base that way, like your network. Oh, your network is super important. So that's another factor. I feel like it's even more important in finance versus accounting. I mean, it's important in all of them, but like really, really important for finance because you're touching a lot more than just like taxes or business stuff. Mm, yeah. Oh yeah, I spoke a CFP. He said he had to prove himself for a couple of years, and he got clients. Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, and that makes sense to me. It's like even for accounting and CPA, it makes sense. Like you want the experience. You don't want like a brand new person. You want someone who's got the network too, because once you're at that point, you're gonna need more than just like one money person. Um, or even one business. Like even for me, like I've tried to connect with other like accounting people, tax, even lawyers, trying to find a good lawyer that I vibe with. Because like, you're gonna need those people eventually. especially as a bit in the business world, even like marketing people, like you need to build a network. So that it makes sense to work with a company. It's just I found that when I was in like brick and mortars, like college, I didn't really build much of a network there. I'm a lot better at building one online than like a local in person. And then I can take that off online, offline, but it doesn't really seem to work the other way, like in person, offline, too. Yeah. So, but I guess that's another argument people make for going to like university. They're like, "Oh, you won't have your network." I'm like, "Well, I went and I didn't really have one." So I don't know. It depends on how you work. Mhm. See. Oh yeah, longer grind. His first year was only 15 and then doubled. Now it's just yeah, yeah, I've heard that passive percentage fee. Like that's what people are trying to get. It just takes a while. hmm Versus like if you have tax or accounting clients, it's not really passive unless you're smart and you think more business. But most people just build like an accounting practice, and so I mean, you can hire and pass it off, but it's not really passive. Yeah, so that would be the benefit of finance. Um, and I don't know if you hang out in accounting Reddit, but it cracks me up just how different it is from like the finance subreddit. Like they're very different. Okay, so let's see. So I talked about after WGU, what happens, like what to expect. Um, and then why I think WGU is harder in some ways than brick and mortar college. And now I just was reminded, like, oh, I this is actually my second time trying to do WGU. So the first time was it 2021? I think it was 2020, 2021. Um, I had started math tutoring on the side to see if maybe I wanted to get more into like math teaching in general, something like that. And so I've been doing it about a year, and I was trying to decide like should I just go ahead get my like bachelor's in education, um, and so I had like send in my transcript to WGU, talk to a counselor, enrollment counselor, and had been going back and forth for a while, and then I ultimately decided not to move ahead with it because I just wasn't feeling an education degree. Actually, that's what I went to university for, and then decided not to. So, yeah, it's like I think because I keep getting pulled to teaching people, but then I'm not a teacher person, like a teacher, like in a classroom. So, yeah, it's funny. So that was the first time, and then now this year again, I decided like I've been in accounting for a while and realized like I want to make this more official, like learn more, and so I'll just get my bachelor's in accounting. So yeah, it's funny. Like this is the second time, and it was faster because I knew what to expect. So like, they already have my transcript, so I just called and said, "Can you give me the transcript review for accounting degree instead?" And yeah, so but yeah, it's funny. It's like this is my second try. Let's see. Oh yeah, I do like accounting Reddit. I'm not the type of person who glorifies the big four. Like I'd rather be my own boss because of my ADHD. Okay, so many people in accounting I meet, I feel like they all have ADHD. Like the profession makes so much more sense when I consider like everyone's probably neurodivergent or neurodivergent adjacent. Because yeah, I feel like everyone I meet has ADHD. Which is funny because everyone thinks of accountants as like super serious and like nerdy and introverted. I'm like, I guess introverted ADHD people. I don't know. Um, but yeah, yeah. But that's what I like about accounting. It's you can be more self-employed. Um, my favorite accounting people aren't like typical like. Wait, no. How do I put it? Like, it's like some of them have been through Big Four, but they didn't like it. The whole system of it. So I feel like I vibe either with those guys or people who didn't go through Big Four. They're like non-traditional, came from outside of accounting into accounting. So I really vibe with those guys. And then the ones who don't like Big Four usually end up starting their own thing. Like most of the accountants I know are like have their own firm or they're self-employed. in some way. Um, so yeah, and that's the other reason I'm not sure about getting my CPA, because I don't want to work in Big Four. I don't know. I don't want to do like the traditional path, but I want the knowledge and that like background experience to like apply to what I am doing or what I want to do. So yeah, like that's kind of the also because it just sounds really good when you say you got your CPA. That you did a hard thing. It's like kind of like getting your like WGU bachelor's degree. Like you did a hard thing. So that that's like a good sign to people and to yourself. Like prove to yourself you can do it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I definitely feel like I don't fit with a lot of the objectives of others seeking the accounting degree. Yeah, I don't need a large salary, career ladder. Just want to nerd out with decent pay. Yeah, it's like you just want to be in charge of your own time. And then, oh, I haven't heard of Chad Elkin, CPA. Like, I haven't heard of him. Let's see, do you know who that is? Oh, I haven't even heard of him. That's cool. I like that there's more accountants on like like YouTube or social media now, because then you can see like what they actually do. Yeah, I left a career in corporate. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, yeah, corporate seems somewhat soul crushing. What's his name? Yeah, just from what I've heard, corporate. I've never worked in corporate, like even just a non-accounting job. But yeah, it's um like because I've worked with others who have been in corporate and the way they structure their work. Uh, how to say diplomatically? Yeah, it seems soul crushing, and it's I don't know. It's like people keep recreating that even though they're trying to get away from it. And as someone who's never been in it, even their little like light version just feels like, whoa, why would you do this to someone? But yeah. All right, so my list, I believe was that everything? Graduation, business days. Oh yeah. So I went over that. Oh, the other thing, which I'm not sure how. I feel like they don't even tell you this, but once you finish your courses and you graduate, you can't access your WGU like course portals anymore. Like you can't go back in there. Like if you want to look at the audit class again, like it's not accessible. I did read that on the WGU accounting subreddit, so I was prepared for it. But yeah, they cut off your access like as soon as you're like graduated. So that's something to be aware of. Um, yeah, you still keep your WGU.edu email, so that one's still yours, but like accessing the materials is just not. So yeah. Yeah. Lots of Kool-Aid. Yeah, I don't yeah, I really think it's just like I like already approaching the world from a different mindset, AuDHD, but then like never being in corporate too. It's like I see something so differently. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, I feel like I already kind of hit on this. Like why I did WGU. Like I kind of hit on it, but because I did go to college, but I ended up getting just my associate's degree. Like I started off with a goal like I'll get my bachelor's, but I've just that path wasn't for me, but I still wanted to get like training to work and have like make money. So I got my associate's degree in interpreting. That's like so I was a sign language interpreter for 8 years. But I always felt like I would go back for my bachelor's if I just found like the right thing to do, the right subject, and then I would get it. But it needed to make sense. Like I wasn't just gonna get it just to have it. So when I ended up in an accounting and I was doing bookkeeping, um, And again, I got to that point where I realized like I want more knowledge. And instead of just paying for someone's like $5,000 course, because there's so many courses out there. I was like, you know what? Let me just take that money and put it into like a bachelor's degree. 'Cause that would look way better. Honestly, it's just like you have to consider, like, yeah, it just sounds better to get your bachelor's versus some random course, which there's a lot of courses that are really helpful and good info, but it's not a bachelor's. So I got my bachelor's. And also part of that was just because I was already reading a lot about business anyway and wanted more info. I was like, let me just get my bachelor's and see how much knowledge I get from that. And I did. Like, there's still some things I would want to go deeper into, but like it gave me a good framework for information I had already kind of figured out or was figuring out or was wanting to know more about, like marketing. So that's why I did the degree. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. And then I believe that's after you're done. Keep track. I did. Oh yeah. I just have like my list of things to, and this is why I wanted to do the live because I had ideas of that I wanted to share and talk about, but I just wasn't doing them. And I think the block was just I didn't want to make more videos necessarily about WGU. Oh, this is a good segue actually. So now that I'm finished, I'm still gonna make videos, but I think I'm gonna like shift more into like the AuDHD side, the like having a business, structuring life as AuDHD. I think I made videos last year kind of about that. So I'm just gonna do more of like either updates or current what's going on because I feel like a lot's changed in a year. And then just what I've been doing since being diagnosed. So that's kind of like the new direction of the videos, and that's why I'm just gonna like I'm dumping all the WGU stuff in this video. That way it didn't exist. I still want it to be out there, but I didn't want to make like separate videos for it. Yeah, because it's like when I have like resistance to something, uh, I just have to stop and think like, okay, if I really want to do this, how do I make it happen without like forcing it? And then that was my idea. Just do my live. Let's see. Yeah, I'm like there. It's fun. This is my first one, so yeah, I'm like it's pretty fun. I'm glad I got it to work. Let's see. So on his ADHD, he's in high school. Oh, cool. Oh, so he got diagnosed early then. That's good. Yeah, I was 4 years ago now. 2022. Wait, no, 2021. I'm like, it's like it was a year before I started my business. That's how I remember. Well, it's basically why I started my business. But yeah, so they're related. But that's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure and I've told my family this. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're all some sort of neurodivergent, uh, which yeah, we're all weird in our own way. It's why we get along. Let's see, but yeah, so that was it. Um, yeah. So if I do the CPA, that would be a next year series, probably. Also, I heard that if you get like a really high score in your state, you get like an award or something, and that sounds really cool. So I would want to do it also to see like if I could get an award. Let's see. He was diagnosed when he was 2. Oh, okay. So the autism first, and then ADHD. Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Just doing awesome things, and it's like doing life on your terms. Um, I mean, I like seeing anyone do life on their terms, but especially people who you're told like you're not gonna be able to do anything. I'm that. First of all, so I was an interpreter, and in like I called it the deaf universe, but like the deaf world, And they hear that a lot, like, that's a big problem there too, like, if your kid is deaf and the doctor tells the parent or gives them a fear, like, "Your kid will never be able to do all this stuff," and that's awful because it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when I came from that into, like, the neurodivergent, like, was learning about that world, it's very similar, like, parents being told all this terrible stuff instead of, like, and then not being offered help. Like, yeah, there's realism, but then you should, I don't give support or like more info. So yeah, and my first contact with like autistic kids was in like the deaf space because often autistic kids were taught sign language too or educated along with deaf kids. Um, so that's kind of like my first contact with like autistic people because like they were nonverbal but learning sign language and like yeah, it's just really interesting. So and now I'm here, I feels like on the other side, or I'm like, oh, I get you guys now. Like, it's funny because I didn't think anything I was learning about like deaf people or even like the autistic kids was weird. Like when they were teaching us the culture, I was just nodding, like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't get how this is something weird or you have to learn. So now I know why. hmm Yeah, his son started coding when when he was in kindergarten. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I so he got like the tech. I'm calling it the tech autism. I got like the words autism, so I started reading before I was in school. That's what my mom said. Um, and yeah, I remember reading like all sorts of books. Like age limit didn't matter. I just if it was interesting, I read it. Like I read my mom's college history textbook when I was in like I don't know, elementary, and it was really interesting because they didn't teach any of that at my school. And I was like, I want to learn the real history. So yeah, let's see. School wasn't great, so he was homeschooled till high school. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. I didn't. I always say I got really lucky with my school experience because well, my mom put me in like Montessori, then some other school that had like a special program, what's it called? Like gifted. So I was always put into gifted programs, and so my classes were always smaller. Um, and I think that helped a lot. It was like smaller classes. The teachers were more chill, and yeah. And then I usually picked topics I was interested in, so that helped a lot. But like my sisters after me, like their teachers were not as good. My youngest sister, she homeschooled because actually school was so bad for her. And I'm like, I don't know if I feel like I saw the deterioration of education, like with me and then my next sister, then my last sister. Like it was just really bad. So I got really, really lucky. Mm, yeah. Do you struggle with memory retention at all from the ADHD side? I do, but I also have the weird memory, like I can randomly remember stuff really well. Um, so for the stuff I'm just not good at remembering, I just have systems like I have task list and my notes app and brain dumping because I feel like I have to like clear out my brain a lot because it just gets full of random stuff. So it's hard to remember what I'm supposed to remember. So that's why I tell like anyone who talks to me, like either in my business with clients or people who work with me or with my husband, it's like I create a place for me to go find info. So then it's really easy to delegate because I just tell people like, oh well, I put it here because I don't trust my memory. Like so that info lives there. So you can go check it. It's like really easy. It's like, I mean, you can ask me, but I'm just gonna go check this thing. So you can just skip that and go find it yourself because it's faster. So yeah, I build systems around that. But that's good because if you're going to have a business, especially, you need to have SOPs, you need to have checklists. So I don't have the excuse of keeping it in my head because that's a bad idea. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, and we're talking about enjoy reading the textbook. Yeah, yeah. I like learning info if it's. I almost want to say any like documentaries are fun to watch, but it has to be like presented interestingly. but not like a game, just like give me the real info, like not try to, I don't know, make it sound like trying to make like the Great Depression sound like a great time or something, because it wasn't, but I want to know the real facts. So let's see. Oh yeah, twice exceptional. I've looked that up, and I feel like it doesn't stick in my brain like what it, like I know what it means, because it's like your ADHD and gifted, right? Or like you have some sort of neurodevelopmental diagnosis and you're gifted. I think like it never sticks in my head. Like I've never called myself that, but yeah, I when I look it up, I'm like, oh yeah, that is me. It's just something that takes some time to get used to having to be able to apply that label to me, because yeah. Yeah, like even just calling myself AuDHD neurodivergent like took some time. I think because I spent so much time in the deaf like community around deaf people, um that, and I would always relate to them like a lot of their struggles, but it's like I wasn't the one with struggles. So it's like it's weird being on the other side now, like wait a minute, like that applies to me too, like oh okay, so it still takes time getting used to it. hmm I see test questions then work backwards, so I want to see the real answers first. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's the other hard thing about, well, really any testing college, because people think like test questions are objective and they are not. Like, uh, it's like part of my studying, or when I was in school, especially, I would like study the teacher and how they ask questions to figure out how they liked answers, and I wouldn't answer stuff until I could figure that out. Because like even after I figured out how they like answers, I wouldn't answer, because it's like I would see things so differently that my answers would be like not what they were thinking was the answer. And I hate that like pause after I say something when people are like, oh, like I hate that pause. So I wouldn't answer a lot of stuff. But yeah, I would do that, like study the teacher, how do they like answers, and then answer based on how they wanted the answer to sound. So that's taken a lot of unlearning too, like to just say things like how I think of it and not like give you the answer you want. So, hmm oh yeah, twice exceptional. So yeah, gifted and neurodivergent. Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of gifted programs kind of remind me of, because I like as an interpreter, we go into the special ed classroom sometimes, and so they're similar is in that like it's smaller group of people, like a teacher just for you, or like maybe you're sharing a teacher but like that's their assignment, but the difference is the expectations of what the kids can do. Like oh yeah, I just remember one classroom I was in, they were just having them, I think, just like practice their letters, but they weren't little kids. And like at least the kid I was interpreting for, like they could do more than that. So yeah, it's just really sad being in there, because it's like they can do more than this. Yeah. On all the practice quizzes, my biggest issue is reading too literally. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. As I would have to figure out, like, okay, so when they say this, what they're really meaning is this, and then answer that question, like the unasked question. Yeah, yeah. It's like those. That's hard. Like double the work. That's why like online school was easier for me in that sense, because I didn't have to read through a lot of yeah, like the extra quizzes and tests and things. It's like you just get straight to the info and get tested on that. hmm Yeah. Well, that was it. I'm glad I have people. I was like, just do my live today because I felt like it, and I knew if I waited again, because I wanted to do this earlier, but then the moment would pass, and then it would just be too much effort to do it. So I'm like, I feel like it today. I have time. Let's just do this. Um, so yeah, but yeah, if any, hopefully you guys stick around. Like I said, I'll talk more about the AuDHD side of things, and then how that plays into the business, my business, just life. Like we came back from a trip, so I'm going to talk about like how we do trips, travel planning. and how that works. And yeah, but if you have questions or anything, yeah, direct communication. So yeah, so like if you guys have questions or you want to see anything, or yeah, just let me know in the comments because that helps a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'll still make what I want to make, but it helps me know how to like tailor it and what you guys are interested in. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna go. But thank you. Bye. Okay, wait. Oh yeah, there's the button. End it.